This is what my 2017 Mark III TTS looked like when we collected it from COPART in Whitburn. These are the images that I had to work with, and you can see this is quite smashed up on this front end. The opposite side looks okay still. We can see there's a bit of an indentation where the wing meets the door, but everything else looks good this side. The back end door looks fine. We can see that we need new dashboard, new steering wheel airbag, back seat belts have retracted, and this is the main area of concern, which is this inner wing rail, which we can see has been pushed up and back after the impact. Taking a gamble here, the chassis legs haven't been bent, but I don't think they have. The description says 40,000 miles, as I can see on the dashboard, and at this moment in time the battery is still working. We also know this is a high value vehicle being sold by the insurance or a finance company, denoted by the P at the end of the lot number. X means it's a low value car, Q means it's being sold by COPART, and C is a private individual. So this has been classed as structural because of the inner wing rail. We can see that it doesn't run, and that COPART has valued it at £22,600, which we know is a little bit on the shy side because we've seen them at £24,000. Which brings us on to how the car currently looks now. So we got all the full front end stripped off this car. We found the donor car with all the parts that we needed to repair it. Got all the dash swapped over, including the seat belts and the airbags. Got the A-posts repaired, primed and painted. We pulled out this inner wing rail and used a tram gauge to make sure it was square. We then bolted on the second-hand front panel, including all the rad packs. Then we fitted the freshly painted doors. And the idea in the last video was to get everything from the bulkhead back finished, so that we could just concentrate on the front end after that. And with Mark building up both doors to complete them, we could then move on to a quick diagnostic check to see how many faults the vehicle currently had, which was 147, using the King Boland E-Diag Elite. Now we're all up to date with what's going on, let's move on to what we need to do next. So the next job we need to do is the auxiliary rad. Now, I did get one with the donor car, but there was an issue with it. There were some differences with the pipes and where the pipes were sat and the frame itself. So I've had to get a brand new one from TTS in Hull, and what I need to do is pull everything off this one. We need to straighten this bracket up because you can't get the bracket. So first job, we need to get this old rad off, and then we'll get this bracket straightened. So first job, we need to get these clips off, and then if we just use the pliers and just slowly tweak the pipes, it'll break them free and they'll pull off real easy. 2 Torx bolts in the bottom, 20 Torx, just like that. So what we've got, this side's dished in and bent. We've got this that's kinked in the middle. This is dished, and then it's also pulled this in, so we need to straighten all of this and that. So putting this over in the vise, it wasn't as easy to straighten as what I first thought it would be. It was quite awkward with all the little brackets here, there and everywhere, but we persevered and we got it done. So I've just been and finished it over on the vise because I could actually get to these bits I wanted to get to now. And as you can see, it's nice and square. We've even got this bit nice and square in there as well, so we can get this bolted on, get the rad put onto this, and then we can put some water in there. So now we've got the bracket bolted back on, we can get the new rad on. And this should just come up over the top, drop into the top holder, and then into the 2 bottom ones. 220 Torx with their corresponding washers. So next we need to put the pipes on, remove the dust covers. So now we've got the pipes on the bottom, we have the pipes on the top, and we've got the new auxiliary rad put in. What we can do now, I'm going to drop some water in here, so overnight we can make sure that the radiator doesn't leak. And then once we know that this doesn't leak, drain this water out, and we'll put the proper coolant in. So I left the car to sit last night and it didn't drop any water out of it. So what I've done this morning, I've taken both pipes off the bottom of the coolant system, and we've now got the Rad Kit Plus sat on. So what this does is pushes into the top of the expansion bottle, and what we do is the button on the back of this here that we press, And then that vacuums all the air out of the expansion system and all the way out of the radiators. And then what we'll do is we'll leave it sat at minus 25 psi to make sure there's no leaks anywhere. And we'll open this tap up, which is connected into this coolant here. It'll suck up through the pipe, fill the coolant system, and then we'll be able to run it up to temperature. And that's that done. Right, so first job, remove the air. So as you can see, we're now at, well, just gone past minus 25 psi, and then we're going to do a pressure check. So we'll hold it there for a couple of minutes and make sure that needle doesn't drop. If it does drop, we've obviously got a leak somewhere. So if you look in here, you'll see that all these coolant pipes are vacuumed flat, and that means that we've sucked all the air out of the system. So we've left it under pressure for a couple of minutes now. It's not dropped. So what I normally do is keep a little bit of pressure on top of here, because obviously as the pressure drops, it could pop out. Make sure I'm keeping the pipe into the watering can to make sure it doesn't lift out. And all you do is that. Because it's vacuumed, it's sucking all the water out of the watering can. And then we're filling up the system with the coolant. And this will keep sucking this coolant in until the pressure drops to 0. And that should drop to 0. And once it gets there and stays there, we can do no more. So we turn the tap off, disconnect the airline, that out. Open that tap up, it'll run back into the bucket. Job. So we've got the coolant filled. What we'll do now is get it started up. Put the fans on full, put it on hot, and leave it to run. So whilst running this up to temperature, what we'll do next, we'll get this scuttle panel put in and the wipers back on. And what I want to try next is the bonnet on and adjust these hinges now before we paint the bonnet, because then when the bonnet's painted, just be on these to adjust, not the height as well, so we'll get that tried on as well. So whilst we're waiting for this to run up to temperature, we put the scuttle panel on, the front rubber, we put the wiper arms on, and then check to make sure they work properly. I had to push down the 2 plungers. So now we're happy with the coolant. I'm going to pressure wash this engine bay out whilst we've got all this front end still off, just to make it look a bit better and get rid of all this grime that's under here. Using the G101 again and just pressure washing it off. And then Mark brings over the airbox to fit this before we pull it back around the front. So last thing yesterday, Mark got the wings and the front bumper painted so that we were ready to get these fitted today. And these came out brilliant. It's like a mirror. You aren't going to get much better than that, I don't think. Dust free, run free, perfect. So now we've got it all washed off. What we're going to do next is we're going to get this bonnet on. So this is the one off the donor car. We're going to try this on so we can adjust the hinges. So when it comes to putting the bonnet on when it's painted, we've only got to adjust it on the actual bonnet hose itself rather than down here as well.
I wear short shorts. Nice.
He's going to kill me. But before he does, let's get this bonnet put on, get these nuts done up, and then we can see where it's sitting at the minute. So because we have this full front end off, everything is moved away from where it would have been from factory. So what we have to do here is adjust the bonnet, the front panel, everything to make this bonnet fit up against these doors. So after about 45 minutes, we've got it to where we're happy with. Nice gap down there to the doors. These are the 2 bolts that we've been playing with to adjust this up and down. That gloss black badge looks nice against the Daytona grey. So now we can move on to fitting the wings. Mark's doing the right hand side. So we've got the car up on jacks now, got the front wheels pulled off, and we've got all the parts out, the wings, pretty much everything that we took off to start with, just so we know we aren't going to miss anything. Mark's just broke that. Mark wrecks everything. So whilst Mark's working on this side, snapping everything, I am also working on the left hand side. Working as a team, we can work faster, both wings on at the same time, and then we can move to the headlights. So now both wings are on, we can close this bonnet and see what the gaps are like from the wing to the bonnet as well. So at each stage, we're checking as we go along and making sure we're happy. This bracket needed to go up a little bit, and this lower wing bracket needed to come out a little bit.
So we've got the wings fitted now. There's a nice gap all the way down the back. Nice gap to the bonnet. And then marks is alright, but it could have been better, couldn't it? So next what we're going to do is going to get the headlights out. We'll get these tried on, make sure they actually work. We haven't tried them on this car yet.
So the right headlight is the one that actually came off this car when we got it, so that shouldn't be an issue. It's the left-hand one from the donor car that might be.
So that's the original light that was on the car before it was crashed. This is the one that we've got off the donor, and that's the one off the donor as well. So let's see if these lights work. DRLs, check. Dip beam, check. Full beam, check. Indicators, check. Nice. No coding required. That's a relief. Looking good. Headlamps in, lined up, wings all lined up. I've just been messing about, just tweaking this bonnet so the gap's perfect now. So both sides are exactly the same. Absolutely 100% symmetrical both sides, so I'm really happy with that now. We've also got the washer bottle put back in, but the pipe that comes from the washer bottle and then goes to the front bumper is damaged. So hopefully I've got, in fact I do think I have one of those on the donor bumper, so all being well, we don't need to order that. Put a load of wax oil inside here. So what I'm going to do next, get the wheels back on. I'm going to roll it outside and we can have a better look what it looks like back on the floor. The other good thing is the headlamps are working. I wasn't sure because this one wasn't off this vehicle whether A, it would need coding, or 2, we'd have to swap all the modules off the old headlamp to then fit on this one. I'm absolutely melting today as well, it's so hot. But it's looking good, isn't it? What are we on? We are now on 20th of June. So it'll be 3 weeks. Under 3 weeks now. Yeah. It's cutting it close. It's so hot we even have to break out the fan to try and cool us down. It's absolutely scorching. So from all those boxes, we've only got these 3 left. That's the donor headlamp, so that's probably going to go on eBay, we'll get that sold. But for now, I'm going to pull this out and then we can get a better look at it. So with less than 3 weeks to go, we've still got quite a bit to do actually. So we've got the bonnet to paint, the front bumper to build up and refit. We've also got arch liners to go, and we need to do a full service, so oils, filters, spark plugs, everything, because we obviously don't know the service history of this vehicle. I think we've come quite a long way, haven't we? It's starting to look good. This is quite a cool job as well. This is in for next week. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Right, thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Trying to get this channel monetized as quickly as possible, so every little helps. So thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.